Hello, friends. I'm Vitaliy Portnikov. It is the 17th day of the war of Ukrainian people against cruel Russian invaders, and we now use the word cruel not as a merely descriptive word. We have seen the cruelty and atrocities of the Russian invaders against the Ukrainian civilian population, and now we understand that Russian invaders received orders from their leadership to shoot, to kill civilian population of Ukraine. And it tells us once again that in his desire to conquer and to destroy Ukraine, Vladimir Putin, Sergei Shoigu and other Russian military criminals will not stop before anything, any limitations which might exist during the wartime. That they are fighting not against Ukrainian army and not against some nationalistic battalions about which Vladimir Putin was talking about in his televised addresses. They are fighting against Ukrainian people. They are killing Ukrainian people. President of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky, today underscored that Kyiv can be taken by Russian invaders only if they destroy all its defenders. The desire to capture Kyiv remains one of the goals of the Russian President Vladimir Putin. I don't understand why. Sometimes it seems that Putin continues following the plan which already failed. After all, in the first day of his invasion in Ukraine, Russian ruler was confident that he will take Kyiv in 48 hours and he will destroy the legitimate authorities of Ukraine and will bring to Ukrainian capital his puppet Viktor Yanukovych, who will agree to all desires of Russian president about Ukraine, or maybe even will help to destroy Ukrainian state. But this didn't happen. We have seen national resistance to the Russian aggression, but Putin continues to think that if he takes Kyiv and put his a puppet on the presidential chair, then Ukraine will be in his pocket. No, of course it will not be like this. Yanukovych, the maximum what Yanukovych can become is a president of a Bankova Street, but even there the Kyiv defenders will be chasing him to show the traitor his real place. But Russian special operations, Russian army, Russian authorities continue to follow this mad plan. President of Ukraine, Vladimir Zelensky, addressed international community with another demands for more support to Ukraine. And we cannot say that he is not being heard. President of the United States, Joseph Biden, allowed $200 million of help in weapon and other help to Ukraine against Russian aggression. By the way, this raises huge irritation among Russian leadership. And today, Deputy Foreign Minister Ryabkov, who already is used to voicing all demands of the Kremlin towards Western partners, warned that this exactly behavior of the United States is fueling the conflict in Ukraine, and said that the convoy with weaponry for Ukraine is a legitimate target for Russian armed forces. Now we just don't understand where exactly Russia wants to destroy those targets. Do they mean that they're going to destroy the weaponry convoy for Ukraine in the territory of Ukraine, but then we don't understand why, given warning, after all, Russia is trying to bombard the entire Ukrainian territory as much as it can? Or maybe they imply that they can possibly strike on one of NATO countries, and we must understand that Putin, it seems, is inclined now to this type of conflict, to the conflict with NATO member countries, while NATO member countries are doing everything possible to deter a Russian president from another political madness. Today, there were another negotiations without visible results. Putin talked with Emmanuel Macron and German Chancellor Scholz. Both Western politicians continued to demand from the Russian president stopping fire in Ukraine as soon as possible. Putin, of course, has not agreed to those demands because his desire to kill and to destroy has not been satisfied completely. But it is obvious that in those negotiations there was something that is not being revealed to the public. And Germany and France, they are concealing the underlying reasons, underlying aspects of negotiations between the head of the three countries. And there was another negotiation process which is now continuous between Ukraine and Russia, which started in Belovezhskaya Pushcha. The participants are not meeting face-to-face, and the meetings are taking place online. The delegation has managed to create task groups that discuss certain humanitarian aspects and looking for ways to stop this conflict started by Vladimir Putin. However, I continue to insist that despite the existing negotiations, I do not expect the quick negotiations between Moscow and Kiev, even with Western mediation, that would bring certain results that would stop this aggression. Because the delegations that are now continuing talks, they will not be likely to agree on anything considering the level of ranks of people that are included in the Russian delegation. For instance, the Russian delegation is currently headed by former Minister of Culture. And United States also do not believe in the results of these negotiations, even though they always say that they are ready to help Vladimir Zelensky if he finds a solution to stop suffering of Ukrainian people. And here we need to understand, and it is obvious that so far Moscow can only imitate the negotiation process, but the sanctions that are growing with every day are likely to compel Russian President Vladimir Putin to be more realistic about the future of his own country in the circumstances of complete isolation from the civilized world. Of course, today and now, and it is also obvious, the world in this war is on Ukrainian side. In many cities of the world, in many countries of the world, today there were multi-thousand gatherings in support to Ukraine. And the polls reveal public opinion, that most of the Americans and the Europeans support Ukraine in this war. And those who sympathize with Russia in the civilized world are very few. And that citizens of the United States and European countries are almost unanimously support the demands of Kiev to the United States and European countries. For instance, providing air support and quickening, speeding up Ukraine entering the European Union, which so far have not been approved by the European countries. But it is only temporary, because the world in which Russia is trying to force its vision about the future is changing very quickly and not in favor of the terrorists from the Kremlin.